Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show, Jack Chow on the East-West Show with the GNE TV. Lots of concerns these days over the border about the poor kids and their parents, detained or not detained, to be detained, to be sent away to whatever matter are pending. We share our thoughts with them because we are human. We're all the same kind of human species. We do not want to see anybody suffer. So for that, I don't care where you are, where you come from, which partisan you take whatsoever. We got to do something right, not wrong. So with me sharing the subject over the border issue is my good friend, my dear brother, who I adore so much for his beautiful set of mind, my dear friend, Chris Shahinian, former candidate for California Senate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for a great introduction.
Thank you. I do really adore him for his beautiful mindset because he, like I said, I used to say to others that about my friend, brother Chris, I adore him a lot because I respect him for that he and I, quite often than not, 99.9% of the time, fall on the same page without checking each other, right? True. So by coincidence, we always get same on the issue. And this probably happens on the issue too. I'll check with him. What's your take, the overall take of what's happening at the border, please?
Let me tell you, this is very, very touchy issue, a very important issue. It's very dear to my heart because one day also I was immigrant in this country and I became a citizen and I was able to establish myself here. I started a new life. I continued my education. I started my family and I was able to be in a government position to run for state senate. This country gave me everything. I'm sure you have the same experience. Many people. But this issue became now, today, last couple of weeks, becomes media brought it up to us that we have seen that what is happening now in the border is completely against our values, completely against what America stands for. So having said that, immigration policy since our Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, who can become United States citizen? How? Since then, our immigration policy, naturalization policy has been changed many, many times. And some of them were good. Some of them, like, Chinese Incursion Act was later we regret. And many of them, government or president came to power, they did some changes. They add, they modify based on a situation, based on condition. And our recent history, 1984, President Reagan gave amnesty for a lot of immigrants. And a lot of people, they've been here, they got citizenship. This was Republican president.
All right.
Even though today, what we've seen in Washington, D.C., this is a Republican problem, this is a Democrat problem, that's not true. Now, Washington, D.C. is occupied by career politicians that they don't have heart like you and I have. That's why we are in this situation. Having said that, things change. 1996, Arkansas new President Bill Clinton came to power, and he did some changes also. That Donald Trump today using that policy to separate families from their children and put them in a cage. 1996, after 8 years of President Bill Clinton, George Bush came to power. 9/11, President George Bush changed some of the policy, make more protection, border protection. Who's going to come? Who's going to go? After that, President Obama came to power, 8 years. He did some changes. And he passed the DACA that's we're still struggling to find a solution. And all of a sudden, 2016, Donald Trump started his campaign by starting a war against immigrants. That was his first statement, I still remember. War against our people. They have invested in this country. They make the United States who we are now. But unfortunately, his radical statements was appealed for some small group that rallied behind him. He became president because of his radical views about immigration and entire Mexican and Latinos. And now we are facing that what happened in the border completely unhuman. I'm sure you've seen pictures. Some of the senators, they tried to get in. Senator Kamala Harris, who went to get in to see physically. Senator from Massachusetts went to see what's happening in the border.
Okay, now, hold on. Thank you very much for the above statement. I believe that you laid an overall picture that is so thorough that covers historical period from all the way starting 1984 to the current statement, right? Okay, now, you mentioned in the interval, you mentioned two important words. One, American value, and two, American Constitution, right? These two are the important words that I picked up from your above statement, though. My first question, to your understanding, lots of people talk about American value. They are kind of words on the lips, so easy to say, value. It takes about 1/3 of a second to say value, right? So what is value?
Well,
Do you understand?
yes,
Do you understand?
I want to bring the American values. We fight the most powerful army for freedom, for human rights, so we can have equal rights in the United States, 1970s, 1770s. And we won the war because people understood that we cannot live under oppression. Humans are created so we can live freely. We can have a good life.
Freely and equally.
Equally. That's what our Constitution, that's what America is about. That's what we call ourselves, the New World. New World based on what? Based on others, you know. Our New World started based on humanity, based on welcoming people. And I know we talk about Statue of Liberty. And statement on Statue of Liberty.
To me, give you an example, the American value stands the part that whoever used the chemical weapons on its own people, we send them a bomb, right? That is American value. Right?
True.
That whoever are detained or whatever, we send people to liberate them. In the situation when a country such as China was invaded by the Japanese invaders, we sent our troops. We fought as ally with them. We kicked those invaders out and we forced them to surrender. And later we sent them a token of 2 bombs or some kind of. Those stand for American value.
True.
Am I saying the right thing?
That's what I'm laying out why we started, you know, United States. How did we start it? We want the people in this world to live freely. That's why people all over the world start coming this new nation, free nation, because we have the highest standard. We put high standard. When people come in, we're not going to turn your back. We're going to welcome you, no matter where you come from, no matter what is your background, education or color.
Yeah.
That's what's the American value.
That said, though, we do have a day-to-day job to do because what we above just described were situations that was so serious because wars are serious, chemical weapons are serious, a country being invaded is serious. However, on average day-to-day operation thing, we're talking about you have a bunch of humans at the border who are barricaded, right? Who were separated, who were detained whatsoever. And on the other side, of course, the difficulty is that you have a country to defend, you have a border to defend. So those are different.
Let me tell you,
Different
defend from
issues,
who?
right? So
We have border to defend from who? Defending from people that are invading our country. Defending from people that are going to hurt our people. Not defending from people that, they are, they try to come for months, traveling by foot to come to our border because of their persecution, because of religious, everything, so we can turn them back. Our border is not for people trying to come here to have a good life. Our border is not the walls. It's not for people they really want to come to have start a new life here. The border should be for people they're coming to harm us. Our president, Donald Trump, used this rhetoric that people coming from our southern borders are all criminals, all rapists, all bad guys. That's not true. That's not true. If that's the case, then why President Reagan gave amnesty for so many millions of people that came from southern border? Why? Because they are criminals? Because they are rapists? No. Because they came here, they established life. There's a human heart of humanity.
Thank you for that, though. I agree with you this time. I want to make sure that you understand me, that I have my own take that I can share with you when we come back, right?
Sure.
I may not totally agree with you. A majority of the
I have to say, you definitely
majority
need to
of
have a
element
safe border.
you stated, I agree with it.
We need to have safe border.
There are some that I would like to discuss with you.
Sure.
My dear audience, with me today is my dear friend, Mr. Chris Shahinian, a former candidate for California Senate. I'm so sorry the voters did not take him. If I were, and I were all, I would take him for his beautiful take, beautiful set of mind. So we'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow, on the East West with the G&E TV. Today, with me is my good friend, Mr. Chris Shahinian, former candidate for California Senate, and he's still a political commentator and social activist, lover to the community, of course, a lover to humanity, that I call him, who I adore so much for his beautiful set of mind. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack.
You stated so many issues. Is one issue, however, I see is a combination of issues. Because we have, number one, we have a population, even for an immigration country, that we have to stay on guard of, right? Number two, we have an immigration system that needs to be reformed.
True.
And before anything comes into law, we do not know what to do, right? This is number three. Number two. And number three, should we not put up a wall, right? Okay. Number four, before anything happens, there comes a bunch of people who come across from the southern border all the way, gush into the United States in the influx in a very short time, asking for asylum, right? And number five, we have 11 million people who are awaiting, right, there for a green card, right? Should we not give them a pass to green card or later to citizenship? That's still in question. And number six, right, we have kids who are separated from their parents, who are concerned as the border crossers and who are detained And and there aroused the argument: should we detain them together with the kids, or separate from the kids? And then with the kids themselves, should we detain the kids? That's number 7. So we're talking about
it's a big issue.
Yeah,
This has a lot of angles.
All 7 issues all together, my dear friend. We can't say yes or no to this whole thing.
I told you from the beginning, this issue is like took us 250 years to come here, modify, ups and down, and no one has a silver bullet solution. No one has. I don't have the solution today. As I'm sitting here, I can't tell you, this is what we have to, 1, 2, 3. But we can act based on a situation. Like we were demanding from Donald Trump to sign executive order so he can
He did sign this morning.
He did.
He did sign this morning, yes.
This is what happened under the pressure. Because
all right, that's the point.
He was under tremendous pressure. George Bush's wife. She was very.
And his own wife.
Yes, his own wife, and everybody started. And this guy, President, what's happening?
Or the wives.
Yes, and what's happening? Well, then I had to do something, and he did. But still, as we speak today, there's 2,000 children are separated from the parent. Are they not in hotel rooms? They're not in a place that they can enjoy. They are in cages.
They are in a military detention center that can hold. First, they say 520 kids. Later, they revise it, say 1,100 or something. And I last heard, that was about 2 hours ago this morning, saying that they are there. However, that's not enough for
what I want?
2,200.
Yeah. What I want our congressmen that sitting in the Congress. I want them to go there, stay there for 24 hours on that room, so they can understand
and see what's exactly happening.
Exactly, and they can understand what it's mean to be detained under those kind of situations. Armed people, around you. You can't.
Okay, so, let's say it one by one. Okay, and just now I laid 7 problems.
Okay, let's
border. Together,
you want to
one by one.
Okay, one by one.
All right.
About the border.
About the border, yeah.
Look at the history. We had to learn. History taught us a lot of things. We can learn from our history. After World War II, the Berlin Wall, right? People, they can't even cross to see their relatives.
Yeah, they get killed.
They be shot.
Yeah.
Where is that wall now?
As a matter of fact, lots of them killed.
Where is that wall now?
Wall's down.
Why?
Torn down. Somebody torn down. People chose to tear it down.
Yes, and today we are building a wall that President Reagan said to Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I still remember that statement because that wall is not right. You should not put wall against people.
But he says that wall can't stand humanism. Can't stand liberty, can't stand freedom, can't stand civilization. There's 5 or 7 can't stand here.
And now, after 30 years, United States, we are building wall. Come on. And this is, we have to have safe border. There's 2 different things. Safe border or wall.
All right, good.
We need to have safe border. Of course. We want to protect American people. That's why we have technology now. We have technology. Let me tell you technology. We can see, ISIS, terrorists from satellite. We can see the car is number that he's driving. We can target him. We can't protect our borders. Come on, we can. But this wall rhetoric became Trump. Trojan that he's going to ride on horse.
Okay, good. That's a good point. That's a very good point. For a while, I thought I was going to argue with you because I had different takes on the wall issue. You and we did exchange ideas in the previous shows on the wall. So back then, I was going so much against the wall. Now that understanding more and more problems are arising from the wall issue, though, I kind of shift myself. from strongly 100% going against the wall, though, for some kind of literally supporting the concept of the quote-unquote wall.
Well, there is a wall, by the way.
Yeah,
Do we have
of course, yeah.
thousands of miles of
No.
wall, by the way?
Now,
Yeah.
now, okay, the wall can be enforcement of border patrol, right? The wall can be enforcement with a laser lines,
Lot of-
and especially when our satellite technology can tell a soldier on the
We
ground.
can detect the bug. Let me tell you, we can detect the bug that's crossing our border.
exactly. Let me tell you, and they say they can from the satellite can tell a soldier on guard if he had shaven or not
That's what I'm
for
saying.
the morning, right?
Yeah.
For an apple, it says which side.
I went to extreme.
It's
We
an
can
apple.
detect the bug if crossing the border. That's right.
all
But
right. So
that's true.
For that though, if you use the same amount of money that is required for a wall to do that kind of a quote-unquote literary wall, conceptual wall though, that can work out.
Of course.
That can work out.
Again, why we're building the wall? The reason behind it should
All
be
right, good.
protecting our own people.
In other words, can we conclude ourselves, Chris? I'm so glad we made it sounds that we can make a conclusion today, at least on one issue, that we are against a physical wall there.
True.
For the concept of walls to protection for future influx, we support. How
Protecting
about that?
our people. That's sure. That's
Sure,
our
sure.
right. That's
Okay.
That's
Back to the very factor, back to the very bone elements that we have only so much land, we have only so much resources, right? Anybody coming in shall dilute the common pot, right?
True.
So that we have to be serious with who we allow to come in, who we not. That's another issue.
well. That's what a couple of months
Good,
ago,
good,
President
good.
Donald Trump
Good, very
issued
good.
another, banning Muslim
Very
countries
good,
to come
very good,
to the United
very good.
States, and even that was
Those
not
are different.
Yeah,
Those are different
yeah,
issues,
yeah.
right? That's another issue. Or
But
maybe
we
the
can
eighth
put
issue.
we can put limit
All right,
how
good.
many people
I
come
like
in.
that.
We can do that. It's all based on our
like that.
against our main values.
Now let's come back to the very beginning, with Ronald Reagan, with Bill Clinton, with George Bush, Bush W1, Bush 1, Bush 2, and Bill Clinton in the middle,
And Obama also.
And Obama also goes on and on. Though it looks that we did have a guideline
Of course.
there, right? Okay.
But
Now,
need to adjust-
with
adjustment.
everybody adding to it, with the presidency, past presidency adding to it, Donald Trump got lost himself for a while. Am I right on this issue?
Well, I don't want your audience to think I'm anti-Donald Trump.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
against him either.
But I want to say it because United States president is, we expect him to have the highest standard, morals, ethical, everything.
Got to be.
That's what we expect. That's
Because
what the
we are
world.
the-
That's
because
what the world
we're the biggest
expects.
nation.
Yeah, that's the world expect from United States president to have that kind of attitude.
Uh-huh.
But time and time, I haven't seen Donald Trump with that capacity. I'm going to be very honest. But some audience say, well, you are anti-Trump. But look what is he's doing now today. Look what is, he find the loophole
Finally.
in 1996
Yeah, I know.
law, and then he just create this big mess again. Why? So he can, so look, I'm protecting the border. So his own base, that 20%, 30%, those people, they think he's a messiah.
Okay,
Sorry
now.
if I'm saying. That
Okay.
they think to strengthen those people, he's doing this.
Let's be fair to him too. All right, we're only human, right, including himself. Right, the president of the United States is human too.
True.
And we do allow mistake. However, it took him so long. It took him several weeks to correct himself. Remember his zero tolerances.
Yeah.
Right, starting from the very bottom point, it was him, it was his zero tolerance that causes the issue.
True.
However, he says his zero
Tolerance.
tolerance was not his own creation. He was only a follower of the previous presidencies on that issue, though. They forgot one thing, and the public forgot one thing. Time has changed.
Yes.
The situation has changed. Never once did we encounter with a situation that with one issue that combines all 7 issues together.
Listen, even I'm going to say President Bush, Obama, and Clinton, none of them put children on a cage. None of them. That's whatever the policy they had, they use it, the best way without having this kind of disasters. This president did.
After all,
Yeah.
There is something behind it that you and I would come back to take it, because there are politics, there's partisanship there.
There's a big
All
politics going on
Okay,
behind the scenes.
Let's
yes.
take a very short moment now. Come back, we'll pick up what's behind it. So stay with us. Hello, dear friends, lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. It looks that we need more time for each segment to stretch because we have more to talk about. Okay, now with me today is my good friend, Mr. Chris Shahinian, a former candidate for California Senate, a wonderful guy. I would wish that he won last time, but he will do it again, I believe. For that he has a beautiful set of mind. For that he has a strong will to serve. For that he has the knowledge of serving. For that he knows what's right to do, what's wrong not to do. Okay, now, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
With all the problem laid here, we want to find out, it took so long for Donald Trump to correct himself, and I do believe that the first ladies
spoke loudly, yes.
together made a silent protest that delivered a strong message to our President Donald Trump, who I started to like. Right? Anyway, so we'll just wait. Okay, now, point is that behind Donald Trump, he is now almost a puppy. He is pushed from behind. Okay, now you mentioned, you agree with me, there is something behind.
Yes.
And I will ask you with my next question.
One of the biggest sticking point with comprehensive immigration reform bill, everyone wants certain requirement. Who can qualify for a path to citizenship? This is what the big picture is in Washington, D.C. now. And that's the war going on in D.C. Mm-hmm. People live here for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years.
Above all, I want to make a clear point that we want to separate these issues, the major 2 issues aside. We're talking about detention as one subject. To give asylum is the other.
Yeah.
Right? So
let me bring that
one by one.
The reason I brought that, because there is every action, there's behind it, there's a behind the scene happening. And I believe what Donald Trump did this to support his base for midterm election. Maybe I'm wrong, but knowing that, because midterm is in the corner and they know the numbers are against Republican, that they're going to lose the House. So this create this dilemma. So we can blame the Democrat because there's chaos, and we're going to look back to 1996, blame Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and then blame Obama not enforcing. So this way, midterm election switch to a different level. I think
I'm not sure that is what he has inside him. But one thing he did say was that it was about yesterday. No, last week, last Friday, he said that let's wait until November.
Yeah. You see, well,
Let's wait until November.
Exactly.
Let's do not waste everybody's time.
Yeah,
Our
because
time, their time, the Republican time,
he elevate this issue now.
whatsoever. Just wait till past November.
Yeah, he'll elevate this issue. Now he saw that, oops, no, it's not going to go the way he planned. That's why he's now just changing everything. So relax. Let's pass November.
That's why he signed this morning.
There you go.
Okay, very good.
There you go.
Very good.
Now you understand what's happening behind the scene.
Good part is that, okay, am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong though. He may sometimes say something wrong. He may sometimes jump on the conclusion too early, but he dares to correct himself. That's a good part of him.
It's a very good part of it. Look, and I'm going to go back a couple of weeks ago when he met with the Korean Kim
Jong-un.
And then next day he said, we don't have no more problem with the, and then 2 days later, we still have an issue. He changed it because
he goes back and forth.
One of his problem is, you know, he had the same problem with the Secretary of Defense. That's why he got fired. Many people getting fired or leaving the administration because he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. He said something and then he started taking the heat.
Well. No. Now we do exactly have the opposite to indicate that he does listen.
He is listening now.
He does listen, yeah.
Well, after
right,
this
good.
is what happened.
Which is good.
He's not listening. Like when I say he doesn't listen, he doesn't listen at when the advisor tell him to do now. He say, no, forget it. Let me do.
Forget the part that you and I agreed upon already, right? Okay. Let's not meander on that part. We move on to.
Okay.
Should we not give asylum to the seekers who came across the line? That's my simple question.
Of course. Okay, that's, again, when people, they come into asylum, there's a process. First, you have to identify who they are. If they're coming with family, you have to identify to make sure they are family members, because, you know, you don't know who they are. There's a process, you know, that's where there's a law. You can't detain more than 20 days for people to have to release them. So basically, there's a law. You have to go to the judge to give you a court day. You can appeal in front of the judge. But what's the problem? We have 700,000 cases now for asylum cases. How many judges we have? 150, if I'm not wrong. 150 or a little bit beyond that.
So how they 51 or 52, I believe.
How they're going to handle this? Basically, even what we created, so it's not sufficient to handle this. That's what we need now. We need judges now to expedite this process.
No. You're talking about practicality versus the case. I'm talking about theory versus the case.
Definitely we should. Definitely. When people seeking for asylum.
Practically, we just laid aside. All right. Now, what your answer was yes, right?
Of course.
Okay, now,
of course.
If your answer is yes, though.
If we say no, then we're not America.
No.
We're not the same country.
I'm not going against you saying yes. I'm only going to ask you, is it fair to the 11 million already in here who's been waiting for years, if not decades?
Well, that issue, we discussed this. That 11 million, they're not going to go anywhere.
We have we have to be fair. We have to be fair, right?
I think
if we grant them asylum,
we're going to grant them based on new comprehensive immigration law. We're going to grant them based on that. We can't just grant them now. Today we're going to grant 5 people. We're going to grant them based on. We expect our Washington Republican Democrat, they come together at least for this issue. They pass something that work for everybody, and then for including 11 million that the United States. And we talk about this 11 million people. How are we going to do it? So
that sounds not amnesty. That sounds not asylum. That sounds an amnesty to me.
True, but yes, and of course there's 2 separate issues, but it all has to be in one package. This immigration, customs, all one package.
I see your point.
I think we need to have Congress to pass another.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another law, modify what we have so we can give asylum seekers after scrutinizing them, checking their background, and also addressing that 11 million people, which you talk about it. How are we going to do that?
In other words, am I right? Am I reading your mind saying that you are not only calling for grant to the asylum seekers, you're talking about amnesty of the whole thing as a package
Of course.
to include the 11 million?
Of course. That's what we've been talking. That's an issue now. Fight in Washington D.C. If we give asylum now,
In that
what are we
case-
going to do about
in
million?
that
Let's
case,
have
yeah.
a plan.
In that case, we should check about our economy. Right? Is our economy capable of handling all of a sudden the border crossers, including the kids, and the 11 million already inside? If it can, if our economy can handle that, though, that dissolve the whole thing.
Let me. As far as economy, of course, there's a lot of survey, a lot of data about how this 11 million people they are improving our economy. By the way, some say they are using our medical system. Yes, but still, these people are working. They're generating money. They going to grocery. They going to shopping. So they have cars. They have insurance. So they do have all this. So it's not that this 10 million, 11 million. If we give them like amnesty, they're going to drain our account. No, that's not true. And the opposite actually. If we can tell them, you have to give a fine, $1,000 per applicant, okay, and just calculate how much is going to be that. That's actually going to generate income. We generate income that help that 10 million people to settle in.
It looks. Allow me to be a little bit on Donald Trump's side, talking about November though. We're now in June, almost July. Look at November, we're talking about only 4 months left, right? 4 months would be too short for anybody, any party, to deal with a problem like this big. We have the asylum, we have the amnesty, we have everything versus our economy to talk about, which calls for a total reform, right? Within 4 months, it is quite unrealistic. That said, should we, you and I mean, not whole United States, should you and I come on another conclusion that to wait till November is not a bad thing?
We can wait, but but for this 2,000, we have to take care of this. 2,000 children.
That's another issue. Yes,
they cannot stay.
Very good.
I think we can wait another we waited 250 years. We can wait another 4 months. But having said that, first, those children, they have to unite with their parents, and then we should give them better way of handling what we're handling. Those pictures are not right. It doesn't support our value. It's not American way.
Sure. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we can talk about the detention, not detention, because we have everything cleared up, right? We have everything cleared up. We had only one issue left, right? Which is, should we not detain? And how shall we do it, right? Okay. Now, my dear audiences, my dear friends, we'll take a short moment and we'll be right back. With me today is my good friend, Chris Shahinian. Mr. Shahinian is a fighter, I call him. I respect a lot. Let's take a moment out. We'll be right back. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back, my dear fellow Americans, to the show. Back to the show. We are talking about the border issue. We're talking about the border crosser issue, the crossers seeking for asylum with the kids, of course. That complicates the matter by 100%. So, with me, my friend Chris Shahinian. Thank you very much for coming once again. Welcome back to the show. We're sharing thoughts on the issue. Well, it's only an extra set of brain or extra 2 sets of brain probably may help with the situation. I don't know. But we need more wisdom. It looks that we're kind of running out of wisdom at this very moment. So, to the point, we are now back to only one issue, because we cleared up everything previous segment, right? So, should we not detain them? When I say them, I say the parents and the kids. How should we handle for the time being? You're talking about the law says 20 days. How are we going to handle it within 20 days?
I want to give you back after 9/11, when Twin Towers went down. There was a Saudi families, Osama bin Laden family here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we dealt with them? We brought them all together. We put them in an airplane, send them back to Saudi Arabia. That's the classical American way to handle the issues.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm bringing this, what's happening in the border, is completely opposite what Americans we have been doing in our history. So having children separated from the family, big no. On top of that, put them in a cage, and then kids crying for their moms, 6-year-old child crying, please don't take my dad, and crying for help for a relative to come take. This is bizarre. This is not acceptable. We should not, repeat, put children in this kind of situation. You know how it's going to affect them psychologically? They're going to be damaged for a long time, those kids. And I come from a country of war, civil war,
right, okay.
Lebanon. That has a tremendous effect on me, on everybody that go through that kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
These children now, we put in that kind of situation. In Vietnam, we did the opposite. We just, protect,
Yeah.
Now, what is this?
Speaking of Vietnam, do you recall that picture of the
Of
little
course.
girl running naked?
Just remember, we
Yeah.
put in the cage. Can you imagine that?
The girl was half burned, running out of fire of a bomb or something. That picture ended the war. Literally. All right, now we're
Just
talking
imagine
about,
that. Imagine.
Yeah.
We put that children, get it.
Very understandable. Very understandable. We are talking about a simple matter, even as complicated as the Vietnam War.
Yes.
However, now we're talking about a situation. There are lots of technical subject over this humanity issue. I do agree with you. I do agree with a bunch of folks that to detain the kids are not humane. Right?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
There's no law that make you do this. Like we're saying, you give me gun, I can kill. That's not right.
Technically, what are we going to do? There are kids and there are parents.
Unite them right now.
Unite them.
Unite them right now.
And where do we put them?
We have. We don't have shortage of facility.
Where do we put them?
I'm sure we have in the border. We have a lot of facility. We can say, look what. I'm going to give you an example. Turkey. Turkey is third world country. Turkey. Millions of Syrian immigrate to Turkey.
I know.
They're not in a cage, my friend. They build them tent. They put them place.
I do not necessarily going against you. I'm talking about where do we keep them?
We can build, in no time. We can build in no time.
No. The word build, all right, cannot be accomplished within 20 days.
We can.
Where?
Look what we did after Hurricane Katrina. We built, we supply mobile homes, for thousands of people.
Suppose we have a big thing, a big theater.
Listen, America. 1960, we put
Anderson. You don't get my point. My point is, suppose we have this a big thing, a big complex.
Yes.
That can hold them all. All right.
That's good.
Okay, now
that's step one.
How do you call it? Detain or detention?
temporary.
It's only a name. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
we
That's
can
my
give a
point.
name. We can give a name, but temporary, process name. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't
right,
care what
okay.
you name it.
Yeah,
But
you can still name it a jail.
it's well. The reason I gave you Turkey's example, they're not detained.
A detention center, or
They're not detained,
or
no.
temporary relief center.
Relief center maybe, but in Turkey, those millions of people, they're not detained. They're not detained.
I know.
So
I know.
we don't want to detain
You
them.
have to. Okay,
Put
now
them- yeah,
you
control.
have to put them together, right?
Sure.
Okay, you have to put them together somewhere with a barricade. Am I right?
That's fine.
Otherwise, they're running away.
That's fine.
All right.
They
good.
don't have to run away.
So somewhere on this global Earth with a barricade, it only depends. It's only a matter how you name it. Could be detention.
Again, that detention has 20 days. You give them after you check, you release them. So you can call court day. They can come to the judge, give them asylum or return back.
And then you have only more than little more
Yeah.
than 150 judges.
That's why today we should start hiring judges so they can take care of this problem. Instead of building wall, we have plenty of judges available. Let's hire them.
It looks like we have a puzzle of no solution.
And President Trump is saying we should not hire thousands of judges. Yeah, we need them. If we need to build the building, we need workers. Pyramid build.
And yet we have only 4 months. And yet we have only 20 days. All right?
True.
All right. Now, okay, let's slow down ourselves. Okay, please do me a favor.
I'm
now.
gonna slow down.
Okay. A bunch of people, you put them together, the word put. We use the word put, right? And with a barricade. Otherwise they run away. All right? Am I right? With a barricade. Some kind of or a line or police
whatever,
line.
yes, yeah.
Whatever. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, now it is only a matter of how you call them, how you name the area. A detention, like I said, and
Relief center.
and a separation,
Temporary
or temporary relief center.
Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
Let's
call that. I have no problem with that.
Let's call it TRC. How about that?
Whatever, but
temporary relief center. Let's call it TRC. All right. Let's create.
as long as they go to process.
Okay, no.
They don't stay there 4 years.
Do you agree with me or not? It's only
I
a
do
matter
agree.
of how you call it.
Sure. I agree
So
with you.
what's wrong?
In a principle.
What's wrong to detain them in
You detain.
in a jail system, in a incarceration system that can facilitate the whole
detain
thing.
is not the right word. You detain someone is criminal. So these people, they're not criminal. They're not criminal.
I know.
Yeah. So when you call detain, it's like you are making things like more criminal case.
Okay, now
they're not criminals.
Second thing, when you put them together, do you put the kids and the parents together, or you want to separate?
Of course.
This is the parent group. This is the kid group.
Yeah, that's the whole issue now. You can't separate them.
All right.
Just imagine you taking my children away from me. If I'm traveling to any country, so you're gonna go left, I'm gonna right, even for a couple hours. No, we're family. We have to stay together. And what is happening now, it's Border Patrol. They are following the order. I'm not blaming Border Patrol. They are following order. What I'm blaming our system and executive order that's coming. This zero tolerance policy. Forget about zero tolerance. Let's take care of our children now.
Oh, even Donald Trump has given away the zero tolerance, and he signed that. Okay, no, we are not detaining them. All right, good. We're not separating them. That is okay.
But still, as we speak today, there's 2,000 children are
now
separated.
they're still there.
Yes, they're still there.
They're still there, still crying for asylum.
Yes.
All right. Should we now? Okay, my whole point for this whole show, though, we put everything together. Do you think? Seriously, do you think, my dear audience, do you think, I'm asking you to, it is a smart thing to do, a wise way to do, to recognize it is time we have to allow another amnesty?
That's what the discussion is happening
Yes.
in Washington, D.C. Yes, that
Right,
is
yes,
happening.
yeah.
That's what I said. There's a war going on. Who's gonna
Amnesty,
get citizens?
amnesty, amnesty. No more asylum, no more anything, no more whatsoever. Altogether, let's call it amnesty
I agree with you.
versus a reform to get the whole headache for the past 30 years, 40 years, once and for all.
Well, I agree 100%, but I think we have corrupt politicians now in Washington, D.C. They are not working.
Once again, this is not a partisan issue.
True.
Even Democratic,
This
and
is
even Republicans,
everybody's issue.
whatsoever. And this
Yeah,
time,
this is
even
not-
the
I'm not blaming
Republicans,
anybody,
even the Republicans going against Donald Trump say, "Hey, no, you're not doing the inhumane thing." Am I right?
True, true.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
it is now almost a common sense to recognize, oh my God, it is the moment. Like it or not, we got to do it. Something like
course.
that. If that comes as conclusion, I
think
call
so.
this show a
That's-
successful show.
I agree with you 100% on
Right,
this.
very good.
100%.
A handshake.
Thank
Okay,
you.
my friend. That concludes my the show today. My dear friend, Mr. Chris Shahidi, a fighter for justice, I call him, and who I adore so much for his beautiful set of mind. And we came to a conclusion on the same page for the same ground that we probably should consider a time of no asylum, no nothing, just no asylum, no temporary relief whatsoever. We want a cure, final cure that is probably a time like 1984. We want to do another amnesty.
True.
Right. So
100%.
we'll see you next time.